First, you want to take off your 21 millimeter nut on your outer tie rod. We're going to hit that with a sledgehammer on the steering knuckle that the outer tie rod slides through. And that will eventually pop free. Try not to hit the tie rod or the threads. Next, we're going to take off the sway bar link. That would be an 18 millimeter. We're going to take it off at the top. And we put a bar in there to pry down on the sway bar to stop the link from turning. Next, we're going to take off the 30 millimeter nut on the bottom of the strut. And it's a 27 millimeter bolt head on the other side. So you'll need a 27 millimeter and a 30 millimeter. Then you want to jack up the arm a little bit to take the pressure off. You might want to do that even before you take that off. It's not a big deal as long as the bolt's still in there. And you'll see it took the pressure off. Now we put a little too much pressure on, so we'll have to release that jack just a little bit. And it should come right down. Now there's 3 15 millimeter nuts on the top strut mount that have to come out. Now I'm going to take off the 21 millimeter nut on the upper ball joint. You want to be careful when you break this loose. You're going to do the same thing with the hammer as you did with the outer tie rod. But be careful because that rotor and the whole steering knuckle is going to want to come towards you. So you might want to have a friend grab onto that rotor there and hold it, or put your knees there like I did to kind of brace it. And you can kind of wire things out of the way. We have some hooks that we bought. And just pry that strut out the bottom mount, and it should just slide right out of there. Now I'm gonna wire up that knuckle so I can let it go with my knees. But make sure you hold that, or you'll rip your analog brake wire and or your brake hose for your front caliper. So you want to keep a handle on the steering knuckle when you break that upper ball joint. Pop the strut back in. Everything is reverse order. Pry down on that upper control arm. Put the upper ball joint back in the steering knuckle. We just want to start our nut in there. Putting the nut on the sway bar link back there. And we're putting the outer tie rod back on. The 21 millimeter nut goes on there on the bottom. Tighten that tie rod up. And you want to pry down on that upper arm there, or your ball joint will just spin inside there and you won't be able to get it tight. So pry down on that while you're tightening your 21 millimeter nut. Tighten that up. Tightening the 18 millimeter sway bar link in the back there. Kind of hard to see. Now you just want to take your hooks off there and tighten your lower strut mount there, the bolt on the bottom of the strut and your 3 15 millimeters on the top, and you're done. That's it.